UFC Shanghai. This is the weigh-in recap show, full card predictions, and the betting breakdown. I'm looking forward to talking about each of the matchups on this card after seeing the fighters on the scales. So make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn the post notifications on, and make sure you share the video too. And also note, I will be live for the entire card Saturday, 3 a.m. Eastern time start. Yes, early hours of the morning for your boy. I'll be here live. Make sure you come and join me for the fight companion and watch the beautiful violence. Let's get into fight number one. We have Dr. Nurgozhay versus Uran Satybaldiev. I've been picking Uran Satybaldiev to get the win throughout the week. It's one of those picks, man, where I really do think that Nurgozhay could have a chance in the matchup. I don't feel like it's a complete and utter squash match, but I think that Satybaldiev's reach could give Nurgozhay some problems, especially with that weird twitch Nurgozhay has. I feel like Satybaldiev could catch him with some decent straight shots. And then when you think about the grappling side of things, submission threat is pretty real on the Satybaldiev side. Has shown good jiu-jitsu and good submission skills in fights. He's the LFA light heavyweight champion before signing with the UFC. And we only saw him on a few days' notice fighting against Martin Buday. Obviously lost that fight. Put a gutsy effort out there against a guy that seriously outweighed him by like over 40 pounds, probably on fight day over 50 pounds. And he lost the decision. And Buday, say what you want about him, he got released from the UFC, but it's not due to a lack of wins. It's just, the UFC wasn't on Team Buday at all. Satybaldiev still had a decent debut, all things considered. Nurgozhay had that awesome knockout against Shefwick on Contender Series, and he's got a good high kick game, but I just am hard-pressed to see him catching a high kick on Satybaldiev. And then, like, you go back and, watch him winning the fight pre-UFC against Emiliano Sordi. It's like, it's a wash, Emiliano Sordi. He's a dangerous southpaw. I mean, his kickboxing isn't bad. He has pretty good striking flow, but definitely not one of the quickest guys in the world. Decent pressure ability, but counterable with straights. I think he's going to be hittable, and I think him and Satybaldiev are in a close one. I can't pick an Uran. I can't pick a DR against Uran after such a shit debut in a fight that was like really supposed to be his breakout fight. Obviously, Brendan Ibero is like kind of underrated. Yeah, he is. He's got power and he's got some jiu-jitsu, but the way that he got his ass handed to him in that fight. Now, granted, he weighed 210. There was probably an injury going on. Could be a better performance here, but I think that, Uran's a hard out. I feel like it's going to be 3 rounds, 29-28, maybe Satybaldiev with the chance of submission. I'm going to lean towards his side with the edge and physicality. Let's check them out on the scales. We got Nurgozhay hitting a better, weigh-in than last time. Definitely no hiccups on the scale. Came in, under the 206 thing, 205 and a half. Yeah, 205 and a half for him there. And he looks all right. Granted, he didn't look like terrible at the weigh-ins last time. He just, had low body language and all and ended up missing weight by 4 pounds. And Satybaldiev, he looks a lot better, I think, in the light heavyweight class, but relatively similar. You can see the height differential between the two. I think Satybaldiev, sharp from distance with straights. They mix it up on the ground, live for a submission. I really do favor the side of Uran Satybaldiev to get it done against Dr. Nurgozhay, man. I can't convince myself on the Nurgozhay side. Let me actually bring up the betting lines for the fight right now, and let's see what the odds are looking like at, the day before it all goes down. Minus 130 for Satybaldiev to plus 110 on the Nurgozhay side. I agree with close odds here. Both guys 0-1 in the UFC, but it's like, compare their debuts. Satybaldiev, gutsy effort. Nurgozhay, complete shit performance in a fight that he was like highly projected to win. Now looking towards over 2.5, minus 115, maybe over 1.5 at minus 220. It's weird how I haven't seen sub props or anything like that for this fight throughout the entire week on any of these sites. But granted, I'm not interested in betting on this fight, to be honest with you, like at all. I just think it could be a recipe for disaster. I think better option is kind of just chill first fight of the night, especially if you're waking up like me at probably 2:30 and then, watching at 3. roll out of bed, or maybe you're still in bed watching, drink a coffee or something, and just sit back and watch these guys go after it. I hope they deliver a decent fight. I don't know, man. I have a weird inkling it could end up being a little bit slow pace, but I'm going to say Satybaldiev does a little bit more throughout the 3 rounds and earns himself a win. And if they go to the ground, chance of submission, he's got the Kimura win here, and then DR coming off the Kimura loss. Possible of an Uran sub, but I do favor decision. I think he wins. I'll go Satybaldiev to get it done. Next fight on the card, we have Long Xiao versus Su Young Yu. Throughout the week, I've been picking the side of Su Young Yu. I've been backing the Jiu-Jitsu in this matchup. I think that he has very capable ground skills, chain wrestling attack, decent control from top, but I will say my red flag around him in the past is I've seen him get taken down and put on bottom. As much as he's dominated from top position, he also has kind of gived up on positions in the past and, ended up on the wrong side of him. But like, he's on a tear right now, so I'm not trying to, take anything away from him, really. He's got a good and capable grappling skill set, strong takedown, strong control. Hard to get up to the feet when you have Su Young Yu on top of you, unless you're pretty capable on the mat. Long Xiao's pretty strong. That's kind of a green flag with him. And he scrambles fairly well, and he does have a bit of punching power. I feel like Long Xiao's win over Kwang Bang Li's pretty impressive. Could he catch a Su Young Yu? Maybe. Yu was knocked out outside of the UFC. Ended up winning that road to UFC tournament. But like, I've never been high on Su Young Yu. I thought Cunningham had a chance against him. I thought Bargain Jelly Yizha had a chance against him. And now I'm coming around to it. I'm like, okay, but his control is really nice and his takedown game is legit. And he's got an ability to scramble well, and he's fast with his transition speed on the ground. Very capable grappler. To be fair, though, Long Xiao did pretty good defensively against Shang Ho Li and was close in that fight, losing a split decision. Like, I'm picking the Su Young Yu side all week, but I get in my head a little bit. It's not one of my more confident picks. And let's check out the scales. Let's see what we're looking at. So there is Su Young Yu weighing in. Looks, calm, cool, collective, relaxed a little bit, a little lackadaisical. And then there's the side of Long Xiao weighing in, looking pretty intense, pretty jacked, pretty shredded. He's a younger guy too and has more professional experience. Then you look at the face-offs. You see a bit of a size advantage. The posture of Long Xiao for a fight that I'm feeling 50-50. When I saw them face off, I'm like, man, is Long Xiao going to be strong enough to fend Su Young Yu's takedown threats off? Is he going to be able to scramble and end up on top? Is he going to win some striking exchanges? Like, I'm starting to have, pondering thoughts about what could be in the fight. And then seeing him knock out my guy, Kwang Bang Li, who I like a lot. I feel like Long Xiao is that super villain aura for me in this one. And as a pro, Long Xiao has 9 submission wins, never been submitted before. Capable on the ground, some power in his hands, close fights on road to UFC, as Su Young Yu had close fights on road to UFC. I'm telling you right now, guys, I feel this instinct on this fight more than anything else that's telling me Long Xiao is very live to pull this off in his home country of China. And Su Young Yu's grappling a bit overrated against the capable Long Xiao. I don't want to necessarily go against my initial lean, right? I find myself battling with the thoughts, but I don't really like this. I don't know, the weigh-in and the face-off. I don't think Su Young Yu looked too good on the scale, and you know what? He's given up 5 inches in reach. Let's say the grappling cancels out. Let's say that the ground skills of Xiao Long aid him in defense against Yu's wrestling. And let's think about physicality. I think Xiao Long might be a bit stronger. Then let's look at the striking. 5-inch reach advantage. Knocked out Kwang Bang Li, so obviously has some pop. Younger guy, more experience. There's these weird ones, man. And it's interesting because the line has actually gotten closer. Long Xiao was an he's an underdog. Now he's even money. I'm almost calling him a favorite. Excuse me, guys. Am I going to do it? Am I going to do it? Am I going to pick flip? I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it, Chad. I won't lie to you. It's just... Jiu-Jitsu's got a great record. Got knocked out just once. I don't know why. I'm just feeling the energy of Long Xiao. Even watching the face-off, like, I just feel like Long Xiao is in this fight, man. And I think if he can stop the takedowns, if they strike, I really think we're going to be underwhelmed with Su Young Yu. And Long Xiao can crack with some power. I feel like I'll be damned if I do, damned if I don't, right? So if you're betting on Su Youngyu, which I've advised against the betting side of this fight, and this is purely analysis, I have this weird hunch that Long Xiao might handle it. I do. I really have this fucking voice just speaking to me. Minus 300. I clearly heard it. Before I hit record, I said, man, I think I'm pick flipping on this one. And I think that at the very least, right, Long Xiao to make it a fight and like a spread on Xiao at minus 220. But then I'm starting to think he can win. I'm like, what has Su Youngyu really done? He beat Bargain. Is Bargain really any good? Jelly Issa, Cunningham is not good. Su Youngyu on a split decision, or excuse me, Long Xiao on a split decision with Chang Ho Lee in a close fight that was back and forth. Beat up Kwang Bang Lee, who I like. I don't even really like Su Youngyu's style, and I'm going to pick him now? My God, I don't think Long Xiao's that good, but I think I might be overrating Su Youngyu. Am I going to pick flip? I'm going to leave it up to the Zin Can because I want to pick flip, but I also believe in destiny. Heads on the Zin Can, we flip. Tails, we do not. We keep it the same. That one was a misread. We'll just let it go as I fucking almost knocked. Tails, we don't pick flip. The universe telling me not to pick flip, man. The universe telling me stick with my initial lean and don't go against it. So, but when Long Xiao beats him up, don't be surprised. But I don't want to pick flip because I hate pick flipping. I like to trust my initial instincts. And my initial instincts is Su Youngyu is going to get a decision. Su Youngyu is going to win the battle of position. But Long Xiao looks intimidating. But I'm going to stick with Su Youngyu because the Zin Can told me don't change it up. And you know what? I don't like pick flipping often. But I would not bet on this fight. I wouldn't touch this fight, bro. I would stay the hell away. I would sit there and I would watch this fight because I think Long Xiao is dangerous. But I'll stick with Su Youngyu. I'll stick with my initial lean, but definitely feeling Long Xiao is live, and it could go either way. And that Long Xiao spread, decent idea. Yizha versus Westin Wilson. I really feel like this has got to be one of the easier picks of the night. I think that we're going to see the side of Yizha dominate position, wear down Westin Wilson on the ground, beat him up a bit, and then eventually finish him, probably by submission, maybe ground and pound. Minus 1,200 range odds. So, like, I've seen pickles. I've seen people picking Westin Wilson. I'm saying pickles. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't expect to be doing this weigh-in show tonight. I thought that I was going to be doing it at 6 in the morning or something like that. But instead, it's game time now. I think Yizha is going to dominate the wrestling in this fight. Westin Wilson's got a karate style, and people are now like, oh, well, Jekka Sargi locked him in a sub. Jekka Sargi's terrible. He hasn't fought in a year. Yizha should win. He survived the onslaught of Gabriel Santos. I'm going to say he gets it done inside of the distance. I think submission's live for Yizha, but I wouldn't be shocked with the ground and pound finish. He's physically more of an imposing threat. He has given up a lot of height, but I don't think Westin Wilson's kickboxing him up from range. And I think there's a physicality difference where Yizha has a big edge. So I'm going to go with Yizha to dominate position and to be able to get, a clean win. There's Yizha on the scale. I think it's going to be destructive. There's Westin Wilson. He's looking like Wonder Boy's cracked out cousin, to be honest with you. He's Wonder Boy's homie. There's the face-off between the two. A lot taller. I mean, he's got the height on his side, but the height don't mean shit, I don't think. Yizha's the better wrestler. Westin Wilson, I will tell you guys, on his final fight of the contract, so with the loss probably getting released from the UFC, I think he's taking an L. I think Yizha's going to beat him up on the mat, probably find a submission in the second or third, maybe even a ground and pound TKO. I think it's going to be a Yizha fight. I think the odds are really wide and like it's stupid and it makes you want to chase the underdog, but no. Analysis and like just perspective of the fight, I think at minus 1,200, Yizha should definitely win against Westin Wilson plus 700. Yeah, it'd be better if it was 4-1, but at the end of the day, is what it is. The pick stays the same. Under 1.5, minus 145. Listen, we could see survival mode from Wilson. All right. Yizha inside distance. Minus 455 if you're lucky, 8-1. Yizha wins KO plus 250, submission minus 170. It could be a ground and pound finish. I think Yizha dominates the fight. What's the spread? All right, not even worth your time, 9-1. Yizha to win. There's really no way to, make anything of value on this fight. If you put it in a parlay, it ain't going to do shit unless it's like, a big parlay. And, I doubt you're playing minus 1,200. But yeah, Yizha she'll win this fight on the ground. She'll be able to out-wrestle Wilson, beat him up a bit. Wilson's a journeyman. And Yizha, decent talent from China. And going 3 rounds against Santos, not getting knocked out in a fight where he was eating some big shots, I don't think now Westin Wilson is going to somehow get a finish. Yizha should get it done. Domination, Yizha for the win. Next fight, Michel Pereira versus Kyle Daukaus. Daukaus is a short notice replacement here for Marco Tulio. Took the fight a few weeks ago. I'm picking the side of Michel Pereira to beat Kyle Daukaus. I mean, there is a crazy disparity in the explosive abilities. Michel Pereira is still a force to be reckoned with in the middleweight division. And he's young at 31. He's younger than Kyle Daukaus, who's 32. And Daukaus was cut from the UFC after getting knocked out by Brad Tavares. We've seen him stunned with big shots and put away. He does have a pretty good ground game, to be fair. Like, Kyle Daukaus can grapple. Eric Anders knocked him out, and in the fight before that, he was put away by Roman Dolidze. So, violent losses and then let go. 4 fights in a row. Respect on that. Earned his way back. He's a good jiu-jitsu player. He's got solid grappling, but Michel Pereira's submission defense is good, and his grappling's not bad. Like, it took Fluffy Hernandez 5 rounds to put him away. I think that Michel Pereira is at such an advantage in the striking, and I don't think Daukaus has the wrestling to wear on Michel. If I am Team Daukaus, we're shooting off rip because striking with Pereira seems like a damn death sentence for him. I think Michel Pereira is knocking him out on the feet. I mean, the difference in striking is vast. Pereira has a lot of weapons striking-wise, whether it's punches, kicks, flying knees, spinning attacks. I think we get a highlight reel finish from Michel Pereira in this one. One-way traffic all the way through and through. Michel Pereira should buzz through Kyle Daukaus and snap this 2-fight losing streak. And, like, it's losses to Fluffy, who's a top contender, and Abus Magomedov, who's very good. Yeah, he looked flat against Abus Magomedov, but still, Abus Magomedov is quality, right? Kyle Daukaus, he's not one of the top, 30 middleweights in the world. He's more, maybe in the top 50 or something like that at best. And I think we're going to see Pereira do damage to him on the feet. Daukaus' chin, too susceptible, man. Way too susceptible. There's Daukaus on the scale. I mean, listen, he made weight. Looks all right, Looks like an average dude, to be honest. Then Michel Pereira looking like an absolute Brazilian savage, shredded and jacked. And then there's the face-off between the two. Daukaus got that big chin, man, just there to be hit. He's got the long schnoz that might get crushed. Yeah, bro, this is a build that gets put away by Michel Pereira. I think he has no chance. The differential in fast twitch muscle fibers here is incredibly vast, and I think that Michel Pereira is going to destroy Daukaus in this fight. Now, I like Michel Pereira inside of the distance. Michel Pereira to win, straight money line, -260. Daukaus +220 on the opposite side. But Michel Pereira to win inside of the distance is interesting. Pereira ITD +110. I know you might be saying, oh, but he'll knock him out for sure. Yes, Pereira is known for the knockout, but 8 wins by submission. There's a chance that Michel Pereira will hurt a Kyle Daukaus and then choose to submit him. So, instead of throwing your bankroll down, it's +145 for KO. I like inside distance more at +110. I think Pereira is very live to get it done in round 1 at +275. And then let's see what else we have here. Anything else catching my eye? The spread on Pereira -145. It would probably hit. I think it's going to be a finish. I think Michel Pereira is dominating this fight, and I think he's getting a finish in round 1. Should find openings. Daukaus' striking is too slow. He's a southpaw, but I think being like a grappling-based southpaw, that's just going to leave him so susceptible to power shots. I think Michel Pereira is going to style on him. I think this is that get-back fight that Michel Pereira needs to rebuild his confidence, and then maybe they rebook the Marco Tulio fight or something like that. But another Michel Pereira highlight incoming as he puts Kyle Daukaus away. He's going to do bad things to Daukaus. Next fight on the card, we got Rongzhu versus Austin Hubbard. I've been picking the side of Rongzhu to go out there and handle business in this matchup here. I like his hand speed. I like his punching power. I like his leg kicks. I like his mobility and striking. I like the fact that he's 25 years old, now on his second UFC run. Looks way better than the first run. Now, he always had good athleticism and potential was there, but he seems to really have put things together. Now, he's got over 30 pro fights, which is kind of nuts for a guy at 25 years old. But I really think that, he's starting to hit his stride now. We got a Rongzhu closing in on a prime, something like that. He's gotten a lot better. He started working with City Kickboxing a bit, and they seem to sharpen up his game. Even his fight against Taco Padilla, he did well in the first round, and then Taco caught him with the perfect elbow, shut the eye, fight goes to wraps, doctor stoppage. Fight after that, he takes out nasty prospect Cody Steele, and I picked him as an underdog in that fight. He did tremendous. Now he's a big favorite here against Austin Hubbard, a journeyman Austin Hubbard. Hubbard's got decent grappling skills. His way to win is to grapple. He does have a good chin. That's a pretty like green flag element of Austin Hubbard's game. He eats good shots. Grappling game is solid. Back control is decent. Ability to land takedowns is okay. Not a great wrestler, but, does fine back control. Did against Medeiros, had success even against Anthony Hernandez, Alexander Hernandez. I'm mixing the names up here. But no, I think Rongzhu is going to be too sharp, and I think he'll be able to stop the takedown threats of Hubbard. Big speed advantage. Rongzhu should do the damage in this one, and I think he's going out there and handling business for sure. There's Austin Hubbard, straight flexing on the scale. I mean, he looks in pretty good shape. You know what you get with him, a tough out. There's Rongzhu on the opposite side looking ready to go, and there's high confidence at the face-off for Rongzhu. Austin Hubbard ain't winning this one, man. I think Rongzhu is going to look pretty good. Second UFC run is not going to be a wash. He's not taking an L here to Austin Hubbard. I don't see it. I don't believe it. I think Rongzhu counter-punching is on point. Hubbard pretty hittable. He has a good chin, though, right? Never been knocked out as a pro, and I don't think Rongzhu submits him. So I could see a good 3-round fight and maybe even Hubbard landing a takedown or two and having a couple moments in the matchup. But altogether, it should be Rongzhu, dictating, the pace of the fight, landing the bigger shots, having the bigger and better moments. I think it's definitely high probability of a Rongzhu great success type of night. Rongzhu is a minus 252 favorite with Austin Hubbard sitting as a plus 212 underdog. And then looking towards the side of over 1.5 minus 600, over 2.5 minus 265. What's Rongzhu decision? Rongzhu to win by decision expected at minus 125. KO plus 385 for the side of Rongzhu. Not seeing any significant strike totals, but I anticipate he lands more. I don't really like the spread on Rongzhu at minus 105. Could he go out and win 30-27s? Yes. Could he go out there and get a finish? Yes. I'll predict him by decision, but I will say Hubbard has an ability to find weird positions and take, backs and garner some control time and win rounds. And his last two, have been close fights against decent prospects / contenders, veterans, I guess you could say, with Hernandez. But with Markel Medeiros, made it competitive. But I think Rongzhu is going to be too sharp, too dangerous, nasty leg kicks, and ability to land good counter punches. I think he's going to be a lot faster and a lot better at striking. I'm going with Rongzhu to get it done here against Austin Hubbard. Let's keep running up the card. Next fight on it, we got Launer Kavanagh versus Charles Johnson. See what goes down between these savages. Johnson is a more than capable veteran against Kavanagh, the red-hot prospect on the rise. I've been picking the side of Charles Johnson throughout the week to get the underdog win in the matchup here, and I'm excited to show you guys the face-offs. Johnson's going to have a nice reach advantage, 3 inches. He's going to have a 5-inch height advantage, and he's good from the outside. Charles Johnson is deceptively fast, moves pretty well, too. He's a fluid kickboxer with good striking from range, also pretty fast and hard to reach. Takedown defense is on point. A lot of UFC experience and quality wins. Knocked out Joshua Van not too long ago, a little over a year. And Joshua Van's the #1 contender in the weight class now. Charles Johnson's quite good, man. And Launer Kavanagh is definitely a blue chip prospect, but I feel as though it's like too much too soon for the kid on the rise. Now, he is a nasty kickboxer with dangerous power and good timing on his shots, and even some, well-versed skill sets with showcasing some grappling, some control, some physical strength, good explosiveness and athleticism. Launer Kavanagh is good. It's just, I think that Charles Johnson is going to be too crafty, and he's going to be hard to get a hold of, hard to hit. Like with Launer Kavanagh's last fight against Felipe Dos Santos, he was able to be consistent and pretty effective in landing the takedowns with Dos Santos, who was a tricky striking threat. And then you look at the fight before against Jose Ochoa. Ochoa hurt him to the body with a big shot. Round number 2. And, Kavanagh able to overcome that. But I don't know, man. Charles Johnson's got a lot of weapons, and he's been doing this a long time. And he's got veteran savviness with the physicality edge over Kavanagh, with that UFC experience edge over Kavanagh. I'm not ready to say that the young prospect gets it done here against the energy Charles Johnson. I mean, recently was on a 4-fight win streak. The Temerov fight, he lost, but he still won the third round. And then Temerov popped after and got pulled out of the fight with Asu Almabayev. So there's some green flags around Charles Johnson as an underdog. I feel like in the striking, I'm seeing Johnson having success from the outside and Kavanagh trying to find ways on the inside and throw big explosive shots, but kind of getting caught chasing a little bit with Johnson's footwork and ability to move. It's like, is Kavanagh going to be able to touch him up, press, close the distance, land big punch combinations, hurt at Charles Johnson? Hard to say. Johnson's got a great gas tank. Johnson's got a decent output in his striking, and he's confident as hell. I have to favor the side of the veteran in this one. I think Charles Johnson is going to win. I've been picking him all week for a reason. He's an underdog again, and Charles Johnson tends to be a decent underdog bet. There's Johnson on the scale looking shredded up and ready. Kavanagh pointing to the sky, but look at the face-off. It looks like the boy versus the man. I just don't feel that Launer Kavanagh was ready for this jump. The number 15 flyweight in the world, third UFC fight, and it's not like he breezed through those first two, right? He has struggles in those fights. They were competitive matchups. I just think that it's a little too much too soon. I would have liked to have seen him fight another guy outside of the rankings before jumping him into this one here. I think Charles Johnson is going to be veteran savvy. I think Charles Johnson distance striking is a problem. I think Charles Johnson is going to catch Launer Kavanagh with some good shots from the outside. I think Kavanagh's going to get caught chasing a bit in this fight, and he's going to be frustrated here against Charles Johnson. I'm going with Charles Johnson to get the hand raised in this one. I think he finds a way to win. Looking at the odds, Charles Johnson plus 168 as an underdog in this spot. Launer Kavanagh minus 193 is the favorite. I like the Charles Johnson dog side, man. I think the odds could definitely be more towards even. I think Kavanagh's hype has him a bit inflated on the line. Opened as a 4-1 favorite. Him opening as a 4-1 favorite is just simply put unacceptable to me. Nonsense. He's not a 4-1 favorite. Obviously, he's not now. He's minus 193. But it makes no sense that he's even a 2-1 favorite here against Johnson. I think this is close. You give him maybe slight favorite status for the prospect hype, but I think the hype is carrying the weight with the odds, and that's just not the reality of the fight. Over 2.5 minus 355. I say yes. Johnson by decision plus 250. Let's see what else we got here. See, the spread would be the plus 3.5, but the minus is plus 130. But for Johnson to make it a competitive fight, whatever the spread ends up sitting at, I feel like he's live. If it's plus 130 for Charles Johnson to lose 29-28 across the board or a 30-27 with a split decision in the mix, I think that spread on Charles Johnson is more than live. But even if it was minus 175, I think Charles Johnson's spread is definitely a good play here. I think he's winning, though. I think Kavanagh's looked good, but has he looked amazing? He hasn't knocked out guys in the UFC. All right, he knocked out Antoine Ho in Contender. Really impressive. Antoine Ho has 6 fucking fights, dude. Charles Johnson's not getting dusted like that. Johnson got a good chin. Johnson's fought a ton of high-level guys. He's been in the UFC for years. With a height and reach advantage, he's pretty fast, too. Takedown defense on point, and Johnson likes to kickbox, and he point fights pretty nicely. I'm going with a Charles Johnson decision. I think he pulls off the upset. I think he's being slept on big time here. I don't understand why he's an underdog of this magnitude in a matchup like this. I'm going the veteran. Next fight, we got Machate versus Gage Young. I've been picking the side of Gage Young to win in a nitty-gritty back-and-forth type of fight. Now, Machate is pretty clean from the outside. He does have heavy kicks to the body, does have power in his straights. He knocked out Steve Garcia in his UFC debut, and the hype kind of skyrocketed, but my God, what a fall off, right? Even his most recent win against Mowgli Benitez, it was kind of shit. He got a split decision against a washed Benitez in the fight. Does have the UFC experience advantage, and he is fighting in his home country of China. But Gage Young on the other side is a pretty legit prospect too. Took the fight against Evan Elder, gave a gutsy effort, ended up losing. Fought against Quillian Salkeld on the Contender Series, lost in a close fight. He's a very good pressure fighter, very good dirty boxer, pressure puncher in the gap, ripping shots, closing the gap fairly well. And Mahashate is like the opposite of that. Mahashate is the schooled kickboxer who wants to strike from range, who wants to pinpoint power shots from distance and wants to stay more away from the opponent. Whereas I think Gage Young forces the issue. Mahashate seems to be a little slow on the reaction time to fighters getting in the pocket with him. Mahashate, a little bit defensively inept, to be honest with you. He doesn't have great defense. Chin is all right. He did get knocked out by Slava, but eats an okay punch, but absorbs a good amount of shots in close. I feel like Gage Young with pressure could end up getting a close decision. Now, I wouldn't bet on this fight. This is not a betting fight. But I think Gage Young by a decision is no crazy take in this matchup. And I think he can do enough as far as closing that gap and landing shots to avoid Mahashate's nasty distance striking game. I'm going to pick the American Gage Young, flying out to Shanghai and taking it home, Savage Mode USA in this hole. I'm believing in my American Savage, Gage Young. He's a good fighter. Granted, is he good like elite level? No, he's a prospect. He's young. But he's a good up-and-comer. Both guys 25. I don't know, man. Mahashate a bit hittable for me. A bit stiff at times in the pocket. Not very reactive in the pocket. Gage Young, just that dog pressure. He's got the cross on the chest. Yo, the faith-based fighters be doing well. Mahashate, I'll give you credit, though. You look fucking jacked and shredded. In shape, Mahashate. There's the face-off between the two. And Mahashate just looks like the crazy guy in the gym. That's the vibe that I get from him. He seems nuts. Gage Young, he's going to have to press. I'm telling you, Gage Young, where he gets in trouble in this fight is if he gets too comfortable kickboxing from distance and he plays Mahashate's game, he could get tuned up for 3 rounds or he can even get knocked out. But if he closes the gap in which a manner of I anticipate from him, pressure, backing him up, ripping punch combos, threatening with takedowns, closing the distance and landing shots in the clinch, I feel like Gage Young's a possible outcome in this one, but not a betting outcome. I'm going to pick the side of Gage Young on a decision. I think it's a close fight versus Mahashate. Mahashate is the underdog at plus 107. Gage Young at minus 127. Let's see here. Over 2.5 rounds is minus 165. Mahashate to win via decision, plus 180. Gage Young to win by decision, plus 240. The spread isn't nuts. Mahashate spread, it's the wrong spread, though. I don't want that one. I'd rather go the Mahashate 3.5 within the point margin. So the minus, he's not going to dominate, I don't think he gets a finish. I'm going to say Mahashate gives Gage Young a test from range, but I think Gage Young is relentless in his ability to close the gap. Now, my worries with this fight, and with Gage Young specifically, are fighting across the world in a completely different time zone. I mean, shit, I'm waking up to stream at 3 a.m. That's hard. I can't imagine being in a fucked, totally jet lag situation, having to fight a Chinese prospect. But I think Gage Young's got the grit to do it, man. I think he can dig deep in this fight. I feel like Mahashate's not looked that good, man. He's a red flags all around type of fighter. And I think Gage Young is going to close that gap, throw hard, make it a dog fight. And I think he's going to rep USA well over in Shanghai, China. I'm going Gage Young by decision. Next fight on the card, it brings us to our main card opener. If you guys are watching and enjoying, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button too. We got Tailake Nueraji versus Kiefer Crosbie. Now, that was a joke, obviously. I've been calling him Nueraji all week. I thought there was an L in there. It's Tailake Nueraji. Or Nueraji, to be honest. I'm calling him Nueraji, though. I'm going with the Super Saiyan Nueraji to handle Kiefer Crosbie in this fight. Now, Kiefer Crosbie, a decent brawler. Let's be honest with you. He's got that boxing win over Aaron Chalmers. I'm not saying it actually means that much. I'm kind of joking around, but he can rip some punches. Crosby's got some power overhands, and he can make it a dirty dog fight and go crazy. But he really only has punches. Ground skills? What ground skills? Kiefer Crosbie's grappling is subpar as fuck, man. You take him down, it's almost like dropping somebody that cannot swim in a fucking 10-foot pool, and it's not just a pool, there's a fucking shark in it, okay? Kiefer Crosbie's jiu-jitsu is subpar as hell, and it's not that Nueraji has this elite caliber grappling game. He doesn't. He's actually more of a dangerous striker, violent elbows, nasty puncher, quick starter, good punch combinations, very aggressive and confident with his pressure. But he does have a win by submission. So even if his bread and butter is striking, I'd be willing to bet on Nueraji being better at jiu-jitsu than Kiefer Crosbie. Kiefer Crosbie, I'm surprised that he hasn't just decided to make the full jump to BKFC. I'm going to make an early prediction. Kiefer Crosbie loses this fight, cut from the UFC, and then joins BKFC. That makes more sense. For the way that he fights, he likes to just strike. Why is he not even doing bare knuckle? Like, him fighting MMA doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think that Tailaki Nueraji should have a big edge in the explosive abilities, sharper stand-up game, and he's got more weapons, right? He's going to use elbows and knees and kicks and not just punches like Kiefer Crosbie. And I think he's going to start fast. I could see Crosbie winging some bombs out at the prospect. Now, I think Nueraji should go out and win, and I think Nueraji should go out and finish. Could be a smart idea to take Crosbie down, but his style is striking. The guy's a violent killer. That's the truth of it all. I left Nueraji out of my most confident picks because he's in a debut spot, and it's not like he went through the Contender Series to do it. Hasn't fought in a little bit over a year, and it was against a 1-1 fighter. Most recent loss was back in 2021 to Mingyang, who actually lost on Contender Series to Stephen Nguyen. He's a power hitter, though. Got that nice knockout against Kim on the road to UFC a couple years ago. And he's been getting violent finishes, consistently. More of a first-round killer, but he has a third-round knockout. Never went the distance. Only lost, too, is that third-round loss to Mingyang. It was a liver kick. I'm not going to red flag him too much for that. I think he's going to do damage to Crosbie. I don't think Crosby's got the hand speed to keep up. I think that Nueraji has too many weapons as well. And worst case scenario, like, just pull the sword out of the back pocket. Take Kiefer Crosbie down because he's been submitted a good amount. 3 submission losses. He's got the 1 KO loss, but it was a doctor stoppage with Charlie Leary, though. It's not like he got flatlined. I think Nueraji could knock him out, but maybe the path of least resistance, man. Get him to the mat. Crosbie looking pretty in shape on the scale, though, to give respect where it's due. Nueraji, young prospect. He looks pretty intense, though. He's got he honestly got the baby face here. He looked like a savage in this. Looks like the baby-faced assassin over here. I'm going with the Super Saiyan. He's going to have the height advantage, going to have the reach advantage. He's got a pretty good build for this welterweight division. Crosbie looks confident in the face-off. I think Crosby's going to look to slug some wild fist at Nueraji. But I think Nueraji can match him in the striking. But at the end of the day, the reason I leave him out of most confidence is because he is still completely unproven at any level that demands respect. I mean, for God's sake, bro, he fought a 1-1 fighter his last fight over a year ago. Kind of a yellow flag around doing something like that. But, of course, he violently chins him. Nueraji's good. I think Nueraji does damage. But I really do think taking Crosbie to the ground might be a good strategy. Plus 375. Crosbie is a massive underdog in the spot. Nueraji, a 5-1 favorite here. Let's see. Under 2.5 minus 485. Under 1.5 minus 220. Would it go over a round and a half at plus 180? Maybe. I don't know with Crosbie, though. He's not that explosive. He's not that reactive with striking defense. Like, he can wing some shots out there, but really, that's about it. I'm telling you, I really think his style is poised for BKFC. Submission plus 650. I mean, if you're on Nueraji's side, you're thinking to yourself, hey, man, maybe you just take this fight to the ground. Like, you don't have to just mess around on the feet. Obviously, he's confident there, but he could probably sub Crosbie. Fuck the spread or anything like that. I'm going to say Nueraji goes out there and gets a finish. I'm going to say a submission is live, but maybe a knockout. He should put Crosbie away. If he's the prospect that, maybe they think he's going to be putting him on this main card slot of UFC Shanghai, then I think he goes out and does some real damage to Kiefer Crosbie. If he's not, and then maybe, Kiefer Crosbie pulls off the fluke upset, but I don't think so, man. I really think Kiefer Crosbie next year is in bare knuckle, and I think that just makes more sense for him. I'm going with Tailaki Nueraji to get it done. The neurologist to do some brain trauma to Kiefer Crosbie is the pick. This one here. Next fight on the card, we got Sumudaerji versus Kevin Borjas. I've been picking the side of Kevin Borjas to win. I think Kevin Borjas is a real underrated kickboxer, man. Striking is quite fast and good, and Sumudaerji's not that good. He's decent from the outside with his straights, and he's a southpaw, and he has decent footwork, and his kicks are pretty sharp, and he can move fairly well. But the thing with Borjas is he has a good ability of closing the gap, nasty low kick ability, some good power in his right hand, good accuracy on his shots, a good slickness to his style. Comfortability on the feet is definitely there. I think he looked amazing against Ronaldo Rodriguez. He looked better than ever. He did okay against Joshua Van in his debut. The Costa loss was but he was a big underdog, and he was slept on against Victor Diaz on Contender Series 2 seasons ago. And I picked him to win in that spot. I believe it was the first episode and first fight, too, of the season. I think that Kevin Borjas can win here as an underdog against Sumudaerji. I'm not that impressed with a Sumudaerji split decision with Mitch Raposo. Way too close for comfort. A fight that he should have really had a much bigger advantage. I don't think Sumudaerji has a great ability to manage distance. And actually, with his fellow countryman, Mahashate, a red flag with him is inside fighting defense, specifically in the striking realm. Not inside fighting meaning the clinch. I'm talking about boxing in the pocket. I think we could see Borjas land some decent punch combinations in close. I feel like this is a good one. I think it's a good back and forth 3-rounder. But Borjas, sharper, more technically sound, faster, I think more explosive and more dynamic with kickboxing. I think his work just looks better. Watch tape of both next to one another. You're going to say, oh man, Borjas looks a lot sharper than him. He's quicker to the target. He's more confident in the way that he throws his strikes. I'm going with Kevin Borjas to pull through. I think he's more than a live dog. I think he slept on in this one. Let's check out the scales. We got Kevin Borjas. He kind of looks like a little mini version of Gregory Rodriguez here, to be real with you. Then we got Sumudaerji. He's trying to channel some inner Nick Diaz savagery with the fucking just straight little goat's chin over there. Straight little goatee only action. There's the face-off between the two. Good intensity with the face-off. I think Borjas is coming out to throw fast and hard. I think Borjas is going to have some striking success. I think it's a good back-and-forth fight, high-level kickboxing. But I'm going to favor Borjas to get it done, man. I think he does enough. I think Borjas is a good dog. Plus 140 for Borjas. Minus 160 for Sumudaerji in this one. Looking towards the over 2.5. Minus 265 for an over 2.5. I'm thinking this fight goes over in a close one, but a one that Borjas does more in. Plus 240 Borjas decision. The spread on Borjas has spoke to me. Do they have the one here? Yeah. Minus 195 for the spread. I don't think he gets 30-27. I don't think he gets knocked out. Borjas over 58.5 significant strikes. I'm going to say that checks out. Yes, I'll say to that. I think Borjas is going to win. And physicality-wise, I mean, he could even land a trip or some type of takedown on Sumudaerji here. I think Kevin Borjas is going to have a pretty solid performance in this fight. I like this matchup for him. A long-range striker that has good straight shots but isn't super slick, isn't super explosive. I mean, the biggest W around the Sumudaerji style is the fact that he has a quick southpaw straight left. But, a lot of southpaws don't have a ton of power. There's more strength and power on that South American kickboxing style that Borjas brings to the table. And he kind of mixes that South American style with a bit of karate flow. Watch for his knees up the center, too. And I think, simply put, he just has better timing than Sumudaerji. And I'm going to go Borjas to get it done. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card. We got the featured fight of the night. We got Sergey Pavlovich versus Where's Waldo Cortes-Acosta. I've been picking the side of Where's Waldo. And people are telling me I'm nuts. I think Pavlovich had a bit over, especially after being violently chinned by Tom Aspinall. Then to get absolutely tuned up for 3 rounds in kickboxing against Volkov. And then to win an okay decision, but dominant, but still okay, against Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Sergey Pavlovich is known as the knockout killer. He does have power in his hands, and in the pocket, he rips some thunderous shots. He's a knockout artist, but he's a plotter. His footwork is not great. He doesn't have an educated jab. Doesn't work the body all that well. Has a heavy blitzing barrage where he'll explode and throw hard shots. And he can land big punches and do damage. But I feel like Where's Waldo is the matador in this one. I give the edge and footwork to the side of Where's Waldo. I think Where's Waldo has better body punches. I think Where's Waldo has a better jab. Now, at times, I hate when he lugs out the softball overhand because it gets a little slappy. But Where's Waldo has a professional boxing background, and he's pretty clean with his punch combinations. He's got educated timing on his shots, and he's effective with punch combinations, and he's accurate with power. Not a big one-punch KO artist, more of a volume accumulation type of fighter. He beat Sergey Spivak last time, and it's crazy that I see people using that as such, oh, well, he should have lost this, and that. Took the fight. I believe short notice. I'm 99% sure. I'm just going to double check it here, but I'm like 99.9% sure. Fought against Sergey Spivak on short notice. Yes, he fought against Spivak on short notice. I am right. Stepped in, no camp, and he fucking stopped all the takedown threats, dealt with the big, strong Moldovan, and out kickboxed him while really having to worry so much about not ending up on his back against one of the best grapplers at heavyweight. Sergey Pavlovich is one of the best punchers at heavyweight, but I think Where's Waldo's a lot more confident and comfortable not having to worry too much about the wrestling. Now, Pavlovich, from a defensive standpoint, pretty good wrestling. And offensively, he showed it against Rosenstruik, but like, to be fair, it's Rosenstruik. Rosenstruik's okay. The thing about Waldo that I love is an evolving martial artist. Where's Waldo has consistently made improvements. His fucking debut, he didn't know how to stop leg kicks. He just knew how to box. Now, he rips heavy leg kicks. He's got some of the better leg kicks at heavyweight. I think Where's Waldo can pull off a big upset in this one. Pavlovich trying to blitz. Waldo staying moving, throwing good straights. I don't think Waldo's getting blitzed and knocked out in round one. I think it's going to be a close fight. I think Waldo's going to be deceptively strong on the inside and can even win some of the clinch battles and potentially the wrestling battles too with Sergey Pavlovich. I'm going to go Where's Waldo 29-28 decision. And I think this fight goes over a round and a half. That's leg one of the Lock City Parlay. Stay tuned for more. I think Where's Waldo's pulling it out, guys. Don't sleep on Where's Waldo. Full camp Where's Waldo. Looks confident. Pretty leaned up, got the shaved pits and all. It's for aerodynamic abilities. I'm telling you, he'll be faster. Sergey realized it. Also got the shaved pits on the other side. Sergey looks solid on the scale. Intense face-off between the two. Sergey reach advantage, but Sergey not a master of distance. He likes to close that gap and clash on the inside and give up that reach and just throw bombs. I like the speed of Where's Waldo. I think the boxing chops. I think that the pro boxing experience to separate the two of them. He's got pretty good eyes, pretty good reflexes. Let's say Where's Waldo goes out there and wins this fight in an upset. I like his chances. Plus 215 for Where's Waldo, minus 255 for Sergey Pavlovich. I like over 1.5 in this fight. Minus 165, over 1.5 sneaky. Let's keep going. What else do we got? Waldo by decision, plus 375. Let's see. Significant strikes. I could see it over for Waldo. Fuck the spread. But I do think, could have moments. It could be 29-28, but I favor Waldo 29-28. Maybe the spread on Waldo, but I'd rather money line at plus 215 or just play the over 1.5 with the other Lock City Parlay piece, which I'll tell you here soon. I think Where's Waldo's winning this fight, man. I think the boxing chops carry in this one. I think he's going to be sharper on the feet. I think he's going to deal with the power of Pavlovich, using his timing and reflexes, avoiding the big blistering onslaughts of Sergey Pavlovich, and having some striking success of his own. I like the side of Where's Waldo to get it done. And I'm going to pick the underdog. I like the over 1.5. I'm going with the ex-pro boxer. I'm going with the ex-pro baseball player too. I'm going salsa boy to dance on Sergey Pavlovich in Shanghai. Co-main event. Brian Ortega versus Aljamain Sterling. So, I have been picking Aljamain Sterling all week long. I thought this fight was canceled on live stream earlier today. The news that broke that Ortega was hospitalized. Supposedly fainted backstage or he fell. Took him to the hospital. Wasn't going to make the weight. Next thing you know, a fight is on. All the reports. I was the first one on the report in the world, by the way, besides the, actual UFC broadcast from China that I was watching on like Bibili.com or something like that. I don't even remember the damn name. Weird website. But they had it all in Chinese, but I had the translator on and you could see the comments in English. Then it's back on and they're doing it at catchweight 153. I think Brian Ortega was forced to fight. I think Brian Ortega was forced to fight. And we'll look at the scales in a moment, and I'll have a lot more to say. But I want to talk the matchup first. Aljamain Sterling should be the better wrestler, better cardio, better grappling control, top position grappler versus slick jiu-jitsu, but Aljo also has slick jiu-jitsu. Now, I'd say that Ortega would have an advantage in boxing abilities. I feel like Ortega's a better puncher. But it's a 5-round fight. Shit, man. When you see the scales, you're going to say, can Ortega go 5? He looked like a dead man walking. I might as well bring up the scales. Aljo, shredded, ready to go. He was on weight, going to make 145. I saw his live stream. I was in his live chat for his live stream. He was ready to go and make 145, but instead they do it at 153. Brian Ortega looked like he didn't want to be there. He looked like a dead man walking. He's like, I have no interest in this shit. Terrible body language. At the face-off, you can't tell as much from this angle, but my God, he looked half asleep. He had just rolled out of bed. He looked in a bad mood. Shoulders are slouched. He walks in like this. Let's face off. Fuck, I got to fight tomorrow. Yeah, thanks, Aljo. Yeah. Zero energy. Look at that guy just got out of the fucking hospital. I think they should have canceled this fight. Even the 153 pounds seemed to be terrible for Ortega. I don't know what went wrong. I don't know what happened in camp. I don't know if it's jet lag issues. I don't know if he got sick here in China. I don't know. But I do know that he looked terrible on the scale. Didn't look like he wanted to fight at all. And I kind of feel like they shouldn't have made him fight. Let me see if I have another angle of this from here. No, I think we got the same one. Yeah, they got the same angle. Same angle. I don't think it's anything different. No, it's not. Doesn't matter. We have it right here. I just think that he looks so emaciated. Emaciated, I should say. Like no interest in doing this. I don't think that he's ready for 5 rounds. I think he would be praying his 3 rounds. I think 5 rounds is way better for Aljo. Now, I don't think Ortega's going the distance. I initially was like, all right, I think Aljo gets it done. I think he should win. On the scorecards, he was a minus 200-something favorite. Look at these lines. Look at the spread. Come on. It went from minus 260, literally at 11 o'clock last night, tonight, really, a little over 2 hours ago, minus 400 for Aljo. Aljo's a lock, man. If you bet Aljo already and you believed in a confident pick like Aljo, you're celebrating if you put him in a 2-leg parlay or something like that. I think Aljamain Sterling is going to destroy Ortega, man. I don't think Ortega wants to fight. I could see Ortega getting finished, man. I could see him wilting. He doesn't look like he wants to be there unless somehow he gets brought to life again. It's going to take more than a miracle in this one. You know, he always talks about being the eagle and things like that. So, you know, taking a boat into the damn forest or something like that, or into the jungle in South America, climbing the rocks, getting the egg of the eagle, and then, you know, eating the yolk and then diving into the water. It better be true, those, you know, stories that we're hearing about him. I'll be honest, that was actually Nacho Libre. But that ain't him. That ain't going to be him. I think that he's fucked. I really think he's fucked. I mean, Aljo inside distance is making more sense at plus 235. I could see a submission. I could see him just overwhelming Ortega. Submission plus 450. KO plus 900. Maybe ground and pound, though. I don't think that he wants to be there. What's the spread on Aljamain? Minus 110. I'm seeing dominance. I say the spread for Aljo should hit. I think he should dominate this fight, man. I don't think Ortega puts up a good fight. He might gas after round 1. It seems that he's got serious issues going on. I'm telling you, I really get the vibe. You guys can correct me if you think I'm wrong in the comments, but I get the vibe that he was forced to take this fight. That somebody in the UFC said, Brian, you need to fight. We cannot lose this co-main event. And it was like, you get out of this fight, we might be not bringing you back. We might be saying, fuck this. The body language is the worst I've ever seen. Whereas like Aljo looks ready to go, and he looked great against Mozart, bro. He's going to body Ortega. Aljo for the W, confident pick, and he's probably live to nab a finish against a Brian Ortega that doesn't even want to fight. Let's get to the next fight, main event. If you guys are watching and enjoying, make sure you guys hit that like button. And if it's your first time on the channel, welcome. Make sure you subscribe. We got Johnny Walker versus Mingyang Zhang. I've been picking the side of Mingyang Zhang all week long. And he's leg 2 of the Lock City Parlay. And I'm feeling pretty damn good about Mingyang Zhang taking home great success on this card. Johnny Walker does terrible against guys that can really punch. And you'll say, oh, but Johnny at one point, listen. Anthony Smith decision 2023 was his last win. Paul Craig knockout. Paul Craig, listen, good jiu-jitsu, but his striking ain't that. Iwan Kutelaba, win by submission. Kutelaba is just a blitz and brawler. First round knockout loss to Jamal Hill. Volkan Ozdemir chinned him recently. He got chinned against Magomed Ankalaev in round 2, and that was over a year and a half ago. Injured, pulled out of the Gushkov fight. Injured, pulled out of the Mirzakhanov fight. He's being put as like a sacrificial lamb. And it's not like he pulled out of the Mirzakhanov fight that long ago. When was that fight supposed to be? June? And now 2.5 months later, he's ready to rock and roll. I feel like Johnny Walker is a sitting duck to the bombs of Mingyang Zhang. I think Zhang is knocking him out. I think this fight goes under a round and a half. It's probably a first round. But if it's second, you can cash nice. We'll talk about odds in a little bit. Mingyang Zhang is a dangerous boxer in general. He's got power in his punches, nasty spear elbow, confidence in his striking, walks people down, throws hard, and actually pretty sound defensively. Johnny Walker, he's athletic. He's got decent teeps up the center, the chaotic athleticism, big overhand shots, and big explosions into flying knees and crazy shit. But the schooled element of him is just not his game, and the chin is fucking red flags all around. I mean, he got dropped by a damn welterweight in a boxing spar. He gets reckless and wild and slugs crazy shots. And Mingyang Zhang's got a nasty ability to counter. Watch for that lead left hook. Watch for that fucking lead elbow. Watch for the rear elbow. Watch for the right straight. Watch for a right hand over the top. Johnny Walker is in tough in this one here. I think he's way too vulnerable as far as striking goes to survive with Zhang. Johnny Walker's chin is a red flag. Johnny Walker's defense is a red flag. Mingyang Zhang is 27 and on fire right now. 12-fight win streak. Johnny Walker, 2-fight losing streak. Both knockout losses. And coming off back-to-back injury pullouts this past year. This year, not this past year. This year. This is the Mingyang Zhang showcase. The Mountain Tiger in China, he's going to win by knockout violently. Johnny Walker is getting starched. Mingyang Zhang look confident on the scale, calm, cool, collected, and poised. That's Steve from Minecraft, Zhang from Minecraft. Then we got shredded up Johnny Walker looking crazy. I expect him to come out crazy and get caught. He got intense with Mingyang Zhang. I got other images that I want to bring up from this face-off. So there was, fairly intense, but it got more intense. They got face-to-face, nose-to-nose type shit. Let me bring it up here. Look at this. Look at this nose-to-nose type shit. You ready? Bam. Johnny Walker trying to get in his head, getting at him like this. And like Zhang is confident. He's smirked. He's like, yeah, you get knocked the fuck out. And you can feel the energy. It started with some old school martial arts respect, though. Both guys looking like, throwback karate specialist and shit. This is a badass face-off, but it got crazy right after that. Walker tried to play the intimidation game, and he lost all aura points. Zhang looks so calm, cool, collected, and confident as Walker is getting all crazy, and that's a red flag in itself, getting all crazy, trying to sell himself into the fight. He knows he's dealing with a precise power hitter on the other side, and he knows his weakness is that chin. He knows he's defensively inept, and he knows his only chance, Hail Mary. And I don't think he's Hail Marying it in this one. Not in China. There ain't no Hail Marys in China. Shit. Secular country. Shit. I think that Mingyang Zhang minus 330 is the favorite. I don't know if they're actually a secular country. They might be Buddhist, might be the national religion. So don't quote me on it. If I offended anybody, I'm just fucking around for the sake of the video. Minus 330 for Mingyang Zhang, plus 270 for Johnny Walker. Mingyang Zhang, Lock City Parlay, leg number 2. Let's fucking cash. Over a round and a half is plus 235. I don't have faith in Walker's chin. Minus 295 for Zhang. Injuries in Walker. It's probably Zhang round 1. Zhang to win in the first. What's the first minute of the fight? Fight ends first minute plus 400. I think it goes a little longer than that. Zhang to win by KO. Minus 265. Let's see. Zhang wins round number 1. Minus 135. Round number 2, you can cash nice at plus 425, but you're going to rely on Walker's chin for 5 minutes? Does he even survive 5 minutes? I don't fucking care. The overstrike, it could be 4 strikes land and the fight ends. Spread on Mingyang Zhang, -325. At this point, just put the fucking money line, a 2-leg parlay. Mingyang Zhang should do serious damage to Johnny Walker, finding holes in his strike defense, which he got a lot of them because Johnny Walker's strike defense is flawed. His only chance is a chaotic and explosive Hail Mary, and it's not going to happen. He's going to get thudded up by big shots against Mingyang Zhang, and he's getting knocked the fuck out in the main event. I'm going Zhang. I'm going knockout. I'm going to say first round, but it could be second round if somehow maybe he's more patient and, you know, we see a Walker staying away from him, but that'd be uncharacteristic, man. Johnny Walker, I mean, he does like to come to fight, and Zhang's got a good pressuring ability, and he's precise with his punches. I think Johnny Walker is getting violently knocked out again. When Walker fights a big puncher, it's red flags all around. I'm going Mingyang Zhang by knockout in the first round, all right? Those are the predictions for this card, and I'm hype for Mingyang Zhang after this because then now he's like emerging as the contender on the rise in this weight class. We need some contenders in this light heavyweight division. Imagine a fight between him and like Bogdan Gushkov, something like that. That could be sick. Definitely some interesting ones. Zhang, big chance. Main event, superstardom on the horizon for him. Now, I do want to talk some of the parlays throughout the week. You know, we had parlays Wednesday. Do they still hold? Thank God. Zhang and Sterling, safe but boring, seems more of a lock than ever before. If you locked it in when I did Wednesday, you're celebrating and dancing. If you waited till now, not going to be as good odds. -121 then. Rongzhu and Sumudaerji, a little alternate action at -107 is live. I just want to give you guys a little alternate. Not that Rongzhu's a most confident pick, but he's an honorable mention. I think he should win. Zhang and the Waldo Pavlovich over 1.5. Lock City Parlay +112. Let's go. And then we got the over 1.5 Waldo Pav with Sumudaerji Borjas over 2.5 at +121. Zhang Sterling, Sumudaerji Borjas over 2.5 +148. Things are looking good. The 3 overs at +192. Savage 4 with Zhang, Pereira, and then the overs and the +212 tag. I like this 3-1 love. Zhang, Sterling, Pereira, Waldo Pav over around the half. +301 seems great. I mean, the odds are not going to be as good now. Zhang KO, Waldo decision. Pay the rent, but risk the fucking rent on that one for sure. It's scary. Waldo and Johnson +712. Zhang, Waldo, Johnson +962. The Savage play at the bottom. Zhang KO, Waldo decision. Sumudaerji over. Zhang, Sterling, Waldo, Borjas, and Johnson +3,483. My God, call me the damn dog sniper in that one. I wanted to create something for you guys live here, how I'm feeling right now. Kevin Borjas, okay? Aljamain Sterling, Mingyang Zhang, +336. I feel like that's a surefire hitter if, you know, Borjas to win. If he doesn't win, though, you could play with Aljo. You could play with Mingyang Zhang. You could touch the side. If you want to throw it down to Michel Pereira, you're feeling it with me. Just those three alone is still +136. And those are the big three. Mingyang Zhang, Aljamain Sterling, Michel Pereira. They should all win. I think they got great chances of coming through. Now, then, if you believe in Borjas, it's +494. If you think the Waldo over 1.5 hits, you're sitting at +890. Aljamain Sterling, Mingyang Zhang, Michel Pereira, Kevin Borjas, and the over 1.5 in the Waldo and Pav fight at +890 actually looks really good. It's great, to be honest with you. That's a money play. Johnson, Kavanagh over 2.5 +1151 live for sure. It is a chalked up over at -380 though. I don't really like some of these other bets to throw down like Yizha. You could put Tailake to give you +1,110, but, you know, recognize he's unproven completely. I like that the 4 I listed off with the over 1.5. You like Borjas as a dog. Obviously, you go Borjas and Johnson. You got +2,263. The over 1.5 in the Waldo fight is such a good one for me. I like that a ton in parlays. I'm not thinking anything different. What I have earlier in the week is the money calls with a little extra here post weigh-in. I think it's game time. I mean, Aljo should be able to run through Ortega. Mingyang Zhang should run through Johnny Walker. So safe but boring should be great. And the over in the Waldo fight sounds pretty damn good. Did I make one with just those 3? I think it's on screen. But you know what? If I didn't, let me do it here. +188 for those. I don't know why I don't have it on screen already. Waldo Pav over, Mingyang Zhang, Aljamain Sterling, +188. Bang, bang, bang. Those are the picks. Those are the parlays. Those are the final takes for this card. I'll be live at 3 a.m. Don't miss the fight companion. Join me early in the morning hours. If you're international, maybe it's not early, but if you're stateside, especially East Coast, early hours. I love you all. Smash the likes on your way out. If you're new, subscribe it up. Turn the post notifications on and share the video too. Don't be afraid. W in the comments if you got nothing to say, but definitely let me know what you thought of my predictions, my parlays, etc. Drop some of your favorite takes. And are you guys also thinking Brian Ortega is a dead man walking heading into the cage tomorrow? Because I think he is. My God. Red flags all around. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.